Durk isn't truly gone, even after a brief stint in jail. The rapper released a full song from his cell in the federal detention center in Miami, proving that he is still working hard while behind bars. There have been plenty of moments that only Durk could provide, so his stay inside has not been quiet. As they say, the camera never lies, and in his case, it has been recording everything. The video features everything you might possibly anticipate from the All My Life rapper, including situations that seem to have been lifted straight from one of his rhymes. Unexpected mischief in the prison. They're holding Durk. Make sure to come back as we examine some of the most odd footage from Lil Durk's incarceration for ordering a hit on the baby mama of OTF Jam. Fans have talked about antics, Durk's life behind bars, and recent developments have everyone talking about the Chicago rapper who is already facing federal charges, despite how dramatic the world he left behind seemed. The jail's unexpected decision to arrange a hit on OTF Jam's baby mama has reportedly been connected to murder charges for the H plot. However, how did Jam merit that? Jam used to be an important and trustworthy member of Lil Durk's OTF squad. According to insiders, the OTF circle is horrified to learn that he has been for the federal government as an informant. According to reports, Durk treated him like a brother after he was released from a 12-year prison sentence for attempted murder in 2012. He even gave him cars worth $50,000 as a sign of his respect and worth to the gang at the time. His alleged transition from allegiance to treason began at this point. Jam's reputation was perfect. There was no sign of treachery. When he was released from a 12-year prison sentence, he proudly said in interviews that he had been honest behind bars, according to an insider.
Years, 12 got out, interviewed, said he kept it real, bought him cars, gave him 50,000.
Right.
This. Made mention, ain't no smut on his name, he ain't never been a rat. Gun case. But eventually he
The insider claims that Jam made it apparent that he had no criminal record and had not been charged with betrayal or snitching. After staying loyal to the crew and maintaining his values, the former OTF member appears to have reintegrated into the gang without any problems for some time. But when Jam found himself in legal trouble again and turned to Durk for help, things rapidly went south. According to rumors, Jam's baby mother tried calling Durk to arrange for a lawyer for Jam, but her calls were not answered. Tensions increased, and their once close relationship began to deteriorate since Jam felt ignored. So though Jam was first welcomed by OTF following a 12-year prison sentence, the timeline is what makes this narrative so strange. However, the situation wasn't as stable behind the scenes. There were rumors that threats were being traded. Jam had already started wearing a wire and reporting Durk and OTF's activities to the federal authorities. Jam allegedly continued to help the police after being released, offering proof linking Durk to several crimes, including the well-known murder-for-hire plot that targeted Dilemma. Look, Rondo.
It's an OTF Jam.
I think we looked into him already.
He's the one that ate the cheese.
According to rumors, Durk, who was already behind bars, felt duped after learning of Jam's betrayal and sought retribution, allegedly from his jail cell. Durk issued a prize for Jam's baby mama, Octavia Redmond, a 48-year-old postal worker who was shot numerous times on July 19, 2024, while delivering mail in South Chicago's West Pullman neighborhood. The gunman took off in a stolen vehicle, which was subsequently found abandoned and burned out in a nearby neighborhood. The attack was premeditated. A masked attacker was seen on surveillance leaving the stolen vehicle concealed close to the crime, seen coming back a few minutes later and then fleeing. A 15-year-old minor was discovered to be the shooter 2 months after she was killed, arrested in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, charged with felony first-degree murder, and transported to Chicago for extradition. Redmond was not merely a helpless victim. She was primarily the target of charges related to Lil Durk and his involvement with OTF. Jam, a previous loyalist who is currently accused of spreading false information regarding. According to internet government informants, after discovering that Redmond had been wearing a wire and collaborating with the federal government for years, Durk orchestrated his assassination as retaliation. These reports claim that when Jam's baby mama Redmond begged Durk for help in hiring legal counsel, he disregarded her, escalating their argument. Durk is accused of even releasing a hit are still unproven, but they have sparked heated debates on social media. According to YouTuber and influencer Poetic Flacco, federal officials believe Durk was responsible for Redmond's murder, as well as the shooting death of Stephen Mack, Durk's brother DT. According to the tale, Stephen Mack's murder was characterized as another revenge crime, and Redmond's murder had a similar motive. On January 7, 2022, Mack and a security guard were hurt when two attackers jumped out of a car in the open outside the Youth Peace Center in the Roseland area of Chicago. Mack died as a result. Two men, Preston Powell and Anthony Montgomery Wilson, were charged by a federal grand jury in December 2023 with Max's. Wilson pleaded not guilty to the murder charge. Powell remained there. Even though there isn't any concrete evidence linking Durk to these murders, the tales of betrayal and retaliation have only grown louder in On the Run. After serving a 12-year jail sentence, Jam allegedly turned against his country, became an informant, and secretly operated as a trusted OTF agent. Federal inquiries into Durk and the murder for a larger scheme against Quando Ronda reportedly relied heavily on the evidence gathered against Jam. A prominent hip-hop insider told DJ Academics that the fallout stemmed from Durk's refusal to help Jam's baby mama. Whether it's the Quando Rondo incident or others he's been telling for, the scholars inquired of Jam. In addition, they asked him if he denied the claims that he was wearing wiretaps. According to WAC 100, who is renowned for disclosing corporate secrets, Jam started collaborating with the FBI as soon as he was released in 2022. Durk's present legal. It is believed that the situation was exacerbated by the shooting at the Beverly gas station, which killed Lou Paybe Quando Rondo's cousin at this precise moment. The final straw may have been Durk's contempt for Jam's need for help, but Jam's decision to cooperate with the feds was ultimately catastrophic. Here the dynamics are harsh. Trenches says that if the boss doesn't feed the killers and take care of his workers, they will take care of you. Durk's need for vengeance was a display of power as well as an outraged reaction to treachery. It serves as an insightful reminder of the most important rule in the rap game: snitches get stitches. But when the FBI approached, what happened appeared to be straight out of a Hollywood script. A risky, high-stakes escape attempt that was almost too good to be true. The sequence concerning his attempt to avoid the FBI sounds like it belongs in a movie. In what seemed to be a deliberate attempt to mislead federal authorities, Durk allegedly took a risk when the feds started to close in by organizing not one, not two, but 3 foreign tickets. 5 of Durk's alleged OTF were allegedly responsible for the interruption. Before they had even left the runway, Deandra Wilson, one of the crew members, crashed down. Keith Jones, David Lindsay, ASA Houston, and another unnamed defendant were arrested in connection with the Quando Rondo hit attempt while his crew was imprisoned. An FBI insider claims that Durk made extensive efforts to arrange flights from South Florida airports to Dubai and Switzerland, but when those plans failed, he went all out and reserved a private plane to Italy. The FBI was already ahead of the game, following Durk's every step when he changed from flying commercial to private and landed at Miami's Opa-locka Executive Airport an hour before the plane was supposed to take off. The numerous bookings have been seen by some as an escape attempt, but others disagree, such as his attorney, Bradford Cohen, who has represented rappers like Kodak Black. Durk's strategy was a deliberate attempt to elude the government jurisdiction, but he was unable to overcome the FBI's monitoring game and jurisdictional cooperation. by suggesting that Durk might not have been running but was instead only making sure there was no outstanding warrant against him. Cohen tried to protect Durk's reputation. Because it can be difficult to determine whether a warrant is out, and flying overseas can set off that alert, it's typical for people who are unsure of their legal standing to purchase foreign tickets, he added. This concept paints a very different picture of a man trying to make his way through hazy legal seas. Despite this justification, Cohen stated that arrest warrants aren't always made public and that anyone can use travel reservations to check if they are recognized rather than just avoiding penalties. Nevertheless, the FBI rejects the testing the waters theory, considering they also believe that Durk's acts are an obvious attempt to escape. According to sources, there was strong evidence to warrant the arrest of Durk's crew members, and investigators believe he was attempting to evade the heat that was swiftly approaching him. The defense team for Durk is already making an effort to disprove the Fed's claims that he was a key player in a murder by claiming that a lot of bookings don't always indicate a desire to escape. Durk's first phone call from prison revealed his thoughts to supporters and set the tone for how he plans to handle the impending storm. He is not remaining silent despite the higher scheme seeming complicated future. Before Lil Durk's first call from jail, which stunned the hip-hop community, fans had not heard personally from the Chicago rapper since his arrest on federal charges of murder for hire on October 24. Additionally, it refuted claims that Durk consented to protective custody while he was being held. A co-worker shared the call on Instagram, highlighting Durk's determination to battle for his release and to reunite with his family. 900 Brew posted a 2-minute Instagram video of the call, captioned with positive comments about Durk. Durk listened intently and spoke clearly the entire time, assured the audience that he was being treated well in prison, and explained that he was not hidden in protective custody, despite what had been suggested online. He didn't elaborate on the details of his case, but it was obvious that he was battling for the chance to reconnect with his family and continue their legacy in addition to fighting for himself. Pictures of Durk with other crew members, including the Book of 600 and OTF collaborations, are among the clear links to OTF posts that become apparent upon closer inspection. Rap artists like Bonnie Mo, it's unclear how Durk and 900 Bara are related. The validity of the call is supported by the author's clear affiliation with Durk's inner circle. There is a huge legal struggle ahead, and Durk's ability to maintain composure in the face of such a difficult time has resonated with both fans and peers. This initial contact shows his resilience in the face of overwhelming circumstances and sends a message to his fans. We are reminded of why Durk is often called the voice. It isn't just his music. It's also about his perseverance, his ties to the streets, and his commitment to his supporters. If the law is. But Durk's voice from behind bars indicates that he isn't giving up, and he will soon be allowed to see his family. His subsequent action, however, showed that despite being imprisoned, he is still a significant force in the rap industry. Durk's verse from Hypnocar, which he released while incarcerated, confirmed why so many people think he is the greatest of all time. Despite facing serious criminal charges, Durk keeps reminding the public that his involvement in the game is far from over. Hypnocar's most recent song, Where Smirk Go, which was released on November 1st, 2024, has fans thrilled because it purports to be Durk's first public declaration since his incarceration. The Chicago rapper issued a rhyme right after being freed from prison, indicating that his career is still a top priority. It includes an audio of Durk passionately speaking on the phone for OTF while incarcerated in a federal facility and foaming Hypnocaro, his mother's brother, from a distance. He boldly declared, "Rest in peace, legend OTF, and I take over your streets." This shows his adversaries and supporters that he is still in control and getting ready for his comeback, even if he is incarcerated. Durk has chosen to make an appearance on Hypno Caro's Where Smirk Go in an attempt to remind everyone that he is still a significant player in the game despite his legal troubles. Durk upholds his reputation by doing this and shows that he isn't allowing his circumstances to confine him in a place where disappearance can easily induce amnesia. The streets were burning when the song was released. Although not everyone was convinced, fans praised Durk's tenacity and gave him credit for continuing to play in spite of multiple serious charges. They divided the streets. Caro was accused by some of attempting to manipulate others. Arguments erupted on social media as several users questioned the validity of the jail call. One person quipped that they would feel a certain way if their friend called from jail to introduce themselves, while others even implied that artificial intelligence was involved. Some people are adamant that the voice was entirely distinct from Durk's. While this kind of discussion highlights the polarizing nature of Durk's current prominence, Hypno Caro believes that this shift goes beyond music. Caro has always been a part of the OTF family. From appearing on the song Ghetto from Durk's Remember My Name album in 2015 to accompanying him on a 40-city tour, he has supported Durk through all of the highs and lows. Caro has been wearing Durk and actively promoting OTF. It goes beyond simply demonstrating Smirk's continued relevance. Behind bars is a statement of devotion and sympathy for his brother. The plot is further complicated by Durk's current incarceration. The federal government is accusing him of participating in a murder-for-hire scheme, It's hard for a famous person like Durk to deal with the most serious charges that could ruin his career. According to reports, he is struggling with the typical challenges of incarceration, such as attempting to concentrate and detesting the food. However, the fact that he published a film while incarcerated demonstrates that his determination and sharp mind haven't faltered. Despite these challenges, he is still planning and committed to make his imprint. Caro's decision to include Durk on the song serves as a reminder of the ties that bind OTF together and is another example of the dedication that permeates the group. Loyalty does not, however, always protect one from criticism in the streets or in the rap industry. The back and forth on the internet perfectly captures the contradiction of Durk's present situation. Despite the fact that his supporters adore and encourage him, he is also continuously scrutinized by critics and doubters. Through a microphone or a prison phone, Durk never stops trying to honor his past, connect with his audience, and remind everyone that he's not done. By asserting that he is a devout Muslim, a quality that predates his current legal troubles, Durk is highlighting the significance of Islam in his life. Durk is still alive and will return, but as an Islamist who turned Islamist while incarcerated, he is now expressing his views through a platform that goes beyond music. The Chicago rapper has been utilizing his platform to promote self-reflection and peace while he is held in custody until trial. He sparked controversy with his outspoken statement of faith when he claimed that, as a Muslim, he doesn't gang bang. This is not about a desperate newfound faith or a jailhouse conversion. Long before he was put in jail, Durk restored his Muslim identity on Instagram, as he had always done. He aspires to be recognized as a man, a father, and a devout Muslim. In a follow-up, he emphasized the necessity for someone to face this truth head-on and stated his strong view that gang life and faith cannot coexist. There seemed to be greater conviction in his words. It is important to recognize that Durk's change into a more devout person is a major change he has been working toward for years, even before his present legal troubles. He had already begun to use his position to address the violence in his hometown of Chicago and promote peace. He announced his intention to lessen violence and develop community-building tactics in 2022. He acknowledged the challenge of breaking old patterns and stated his resolve to make a constructive contribution. He clarified the constant difficulty of maintaining a better path by stating that even when someone tries to achieve nearly everything, indeed, traces of past problems may still be present. His recent remarks, which place a greater focus on Islam and give his speech a more genuine tone, further that objective. He seems to be completely renouncing gang life and embracing a faith that has always been a part of him, despite the fact that other facets of his life have occasionally eclipsed it. His dedication to faith and peace is a conscious message to his friends and followers, in addition to helping him better himself. When talking about his music, he made it clear that although it is a reflection of his experiences, it does not seek to exalt or glorify life on the streets. He made it clear that even if his own objectives have changed to align with a greater cause, his music will remain true to those memories. Those who frequently follow Durk are aware that this journey started long before his present legal troubles, despite some doubters' conjectures that this public reaffirmation of his religion is a legal strategy to improve his reputation. As he tries to reassess his life and focus on a greater objective, Lil Durk talks about embracing his history, growing from it, and moving forward with purpose in this chapter. His dedication to self-improvement and change advocacy is not new. It is the result of years of self-examination and a desire to make a big difference in both music and life. Convicted of 2 additional offenses while incarcerated, Lil Durk, who was imprisoned on conspiracy charges related to an alleged murder, already has a steep uphill struggle ahead of him. The Chicago rapper for hire's legal issues are becoming worse after he was charged with 2 new offenses. When Lil Durk showed up in court today, the judge decided that there was sufficient evidence to allow him to stand trial. According to the prosecution, Durk-born Durk Banks was instrumental in planning the retaliation that resulted in the August 2022 shooting death of Sava Robinson, a cousin of Georgia rapper Quando, inside a gas station. Rondo. According to the latest accusations, Durk ordered the murder via coded signals. Prosecutors point to the 2020 murder of Durk's close friend and coworker King Von, who was shot dead outside an Atlanta nightclub after a fight involving Rondo's crew, as the cause of the for-hire conspiracy. According to investigators, Durk sought revenge following Von's death and made it apparent in private chats that anyone who wanted to commit the murder would receive compensation. Details about the alleged. The theories of conspiracy are very specific. Durk reportedly provided the team some cash, and they appear to have a single objective in mind when they drove from Chicago into California. They allegedly used several vehicles to carry out the ambush at a patrol station in Beverly Center, tracking Rondo's movements for hours. 18 shots were fired at Rondo's car during the shooting, which was caught on camera. Robinson, his relative, was not as fortunate as Rondo to survive the attack. Durk allegedly oversaw key plot points, supervised the conspiracy, and supplied funding for the trip, according to court filings. According to financial records, Durk is linked to spending for housing, flights, and equipment utilized in the assault, including ski masks purchased by Cavan London Grant, one of his co-defendants. According to reports, Durk and Grant got to Los Angeles just before the murder. According to the prosecution, Durk has pursued mainstream popularity while continuing to spearhead unlawful behavior as the head of a violent collective. They also assert that Durk's statements and covert activities were a direct cause of the circumstances that led to Robinson's passing. It's amazing how contradictory Lil Durk's current situation is. He is distancing himself from the streets that influenced his formative years by presenting himself as a man of faith and peace. However, his followers and legal team are standing by him in the face of grave government accusations that he is the mastermind of a fatal revenge scheme. However, as he awaits extradition to Los Angeles, Durk is in one of the most trying situations of his life and profession due to the severity of these charges. Despite the story's dramatic and intricate contrast between his public demeanor and the charges against him, his following acts while in custody provided insight into his mental state. Durk is indicating that he is ready to fight back by stating that he will enter a not guilty plea because he thinks he can deny the charges. The Breakfast Club staff is also discussing Durk's situation and has latched onto the latest tidbit of information, which claims that Durk is about to enter a not guilty plea to the rapper is facing serious murder charges that might result in harsher penalties. Therefore, TMZ said he seems to think he has a real chance of winning this case. Durk is certain that the evidence will not be utilized against the Breakfast Club, so he is ready to defend this case to the end. They candidly talked about Durk's legal team's strategy for the lawsuit. For Charlemagne, Durk's not guilty plea meant more than simply dismissing the charges. It demonstrated his commitment to faith that he could prove them wrong. This action may be a premeditated one to show the court and his supporters that he is not going to give up under federal law, even though he is in a Miami detention facility. Angela Yee stated, "Durk is tough. Anybody who knows him knows that he has faced hardship in the past and used it to further his profession. But the stakes are far higher this time. Not only is his freedom in jeopardy, but his entire legacy is as well." Despite allegations that the condition of the food in it looks like Durk is keeping his head up there. Durk's legal team may be able to slant the narrative in his favor if they can pose enough doubts about the feds, who have a lot to prove. Durk's silence has been ridiculous. DJ Envy said Durk's team might use the not guilty plea to highlight the prosecution's flaws, such as allegations of coded messages or bank transactions that allegedly link him to the scheme. Since his arrest, fans have grown accustomed to him immediately addressing topics through his songs or social media, but this time he is being silent. He seems to be letting the legal system speak for itself, or maybe he is holding off on making a statement until it is most crucial. The Breakfast Club also covered the potential impact of this lawsuit on Durk's career. Charlemagne pointed out that even if Durk has a large following, a lengthy legal battle could test their loyalty. Whether Durk is preparing his case or is just waiting, his not guilty plea sets the stage for what is sure to be a high-profile trial, and all eyes are on the courtroom at this very moment. He may have one of the greatest. If he refutes these accusations, he might have one of the greatest comebacks in hip-hop history, but if he doesn't, his career could end, Angela added. Durk's circumstances are getting worse every day, and it seems that the rapper is not aware of how much the federal government is meddling in his private affairs while he is being held in the Miami detention center, even though it is obvious that he will not be going down without a fight in prison. Reports state that Durk is so certain of the claims that he planned the murder of Quizzo Rondo that he plans to enter a not guilty plea. The FBI has a ton of evidence against him, though, which he could not be aware of. Wire captures surveillance video. Financial data is not being manipulated by the federal government, and this case is becoming into a precedent in federal court. Documents reveal that investigations have been covertly building their case for months or perhaps years after Durk and his alleged accomplices took the necessary steps. The evidence seems to point to a well-planned sequence of events that culminated at a gas station, from the flights booked under Durk's business name to the cameras in Los Angeles that purportedly showed OTF members pursuing Rondo. The odd feature: ambush. The feds are now using the paper trail that Durk allegedly created by paying for the airfare and housing of his group. After everyone had returned to Chicago, there seemed to have been recordings of calls, movements, and even alleged payments. The truth is always told in surveillance. The prosecution claims that by making these payments, Durk kept his promise to his team after the hit, and this case is already. In contrast with the Young Thugs, right now the FBI seems to have receipts for days, and they move precisely. In addition to monitoring, the layers of evidence allegedly include bank paperwork that connect Durk to the trip's finance. The government uses similar strategies to construct its story in the RICO case, including as wiretaps, taped calls, and turning insiders into spies. Durk may not even realize the scope of the hostility, though. According to reports, he told them that he will be released shortly and that he had faith in his team. Officials are keeping things under wraps and haven't disclosed much yet, but little they have disclosed so far appears to incriminate Allah and the activities that followed. According to legal experts watching the case, the financial tracking and the TAPKS video evidence will make it tough for Durk's side to win this one. Come together to create a narrative that is challenging to disprove, even with the most compelling argument. Whether the feds feel that anything is a case that is so compelling that it is almost impossible to argue against. Durk seems to be using the duality to focus on his family and music while still leaving this circumstance with dignity. However, a federal apparatus is putting a lot of effort into building what they claim is a strong case that connects him to some of the most serious accusations currently in circulation. Although Durk's supporters are cheering him on and hoping their favorite rapper prevails, the reality is that this is a federal court with dire repercussions. Durk's optimism might be misplaced, and the road ahead would be far more challenging than he had expected if the feds are as excellent as they say they are. Thank you for your time. Please click on any of the other videos if you want to view more from our channel. For more, don't forget to subscribe, like, and click the bell icon.